Well, hello there. You are listening to Nellyville, the podcast. And I'm Black. Hello, shalom. Welcome back to another wonderful, fabulous episode of Nellyville, the podcast, the place to be. So happy to have you back again for another week. If this is your first time here, welcome to the family. Stick around, give a little follow, give a little share. We have a good time around here. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, let's just get right into the episode. First thing I want to say, okay, look, y'all know I'm a TV girl. Movies, cool, fine, whatever. Give me a good TV show. I love to binge watch a show. I don't care if it just came out. I don't care if it's old. Love a good TV moment. Let me tell you something that I think I may have slept on. Hear me out. Survivor. I know. Maybe the girlies out there, maybe you guys have already been on and hip to it and be like, Chanel, how could you possibly been sleeping on Survivor? And then there's probably others of you out there who are like, Survivor, girl, can't be bothered, miss me all that. That's bonanza, okay? Look. Recently, me and little Joseph and we decided, okay, we're going to binge watch Survivor, okay? We finished whatever the last show it was that we were binging, and we're like, okay. We were watching Traitors. If you haven't watched Traitors, that's a cute one. That's a good one. I really only started watching that because of Bob the Drag Queen, so I had to go back and watch, like, the first season. I think he was on season 2 or 3, whatever it was. I had to watch the ones before so I could get to his season, because I like to give a show a fair chance. I don't like to just start on the 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? If I get drawn into a show, season 2, 3, 4, I'm gonna give the show the full chance to really give it to me, and I'll start with season 1, even if I'm late to the game. But anyways, it was cute. Now, will I watch the next season of Traitors? Maybe. It was cute for what it was. Which Bob the Drag Queen got to stay on a little longer. But anyways, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Survivor. Now, Survivor first came out 2020, or not 2020, the year 2000, okay? That is a long run for a show. So obviously, they're doing something right over there in Survivor Land. Somebody's watching it. Someone's liking it. Someone's making the moolah off of it, okay? Now, when this show first came out, 2000, let's see, so I would have been, like 9, right? So a little young for the show, a little young, maybe, but, it just it didn't really pique my interest, plus, it probably came on at the same time as some other, shows that I was more interested in as a 9-year-old. But obviously, this show has been going on for a huge chunk of my life. Just never tuned into it. There was one point, I've seen clips and things here and there, and I'm like, okay. Part of me felt like, and this is why the world does not like Americans. Here we are. We have made a game. And I think I heard some comedian or someone has said this before. And it made sense at the time. Years ago, I just kind of agree with this sentiment of, here we are playing a game based off of what people actually go through. This is their everyday lives, and here we are, we're like, oh, can we survive out in the jungle for 40 days? And that, like, the premise just kind of seemed like, and this is why people don't respect America. But anyways, all that aside, I do think that it is actually, it's fun, it's a good time. I'm going to give it a chance. And let me tell you something. We've watched the first 2 or 3 episodes. I'm kind of into it. But you know what? I don't feel like I missed out. Here's why. I do actually, because for one, I have the opportunity to go back and watch it. But also, I feel like I appreciate it more at this moment in time in life. So, divine timing. We mentioned that last week. So if you look, it's like I said, we've only watched the first 2 or 3 episodes. So if you would like to start on the Survivor journey with us, me and little Joseph, I implore you. Hey, jump on, catch up with us. Maybe we could have a little watch party or something, or we can exchange notes or something. For the girlies who want to jump on the Survivor kick, if you are already on it, don't ruin it for me. Don't spoil it. But also, I would like to say, I noticed elements from this show have been used in other competition shows. So not only is Survivor out here popping, but they were out here setting trends. And I know they set the trends because they were first. Like Drag Race, for example. Would they have the well, this All-Stars, they didn't do it. Before the All-Star seasons where the girls had to vote and they had the lipsticks and they did the thing and the bippity-boppity-boo and getting voted out. Baby, Survivor. And that's just one example I can think of. But if you know the Lord, you know the Lord. But anyways, that's all I had to say. Let me know what you're binge watching. What are y'all getting into? I need a list so I can go on to the next thing. Also, speaking of TV shows, long-running TV shows, Grey's Anatomy renewed for another season. Baby, they've been saying this is the last season of Grey's Anatomy since before 2020. And I think that COVID actually saved Grey's Anatomy. This is just my speculation. This is my opinion, allegedly, okay? I really do think the show was going to wrap up. It was going to conclude. It was going to be a great run. Grey's Anatomy is another one that's been coming on for a very long time, since early 2000s. And I think that because COVID happened, I think that allowed them to have more material to draw from. Plus, it would have been a really weird time to kind of wrap it up. It was kind of one of those, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity to use this as educational, to put this relatable content out to this very new, unique experience as humankind that, we had never been through anything like that before. So this was TV gold for shows like Grey's Anatomy. So it's like, why not lean into the chaos that is COVID? But here we are, 2025, going into, I guess, it'll be coming on this. Yeah. So she's coming back. Miss Ellen Pompeo, who is, the lead, the main girl, Meredith Grey. She's going to be in and out. But the show has enough of a storyline, multiple storylines, multiple main characters, that even though the show is called Grey's Anatomy, you can still make it work with just having Meredith Grey in a few episodes and she not be missed too much. Now, I hope that Ellen does not completely walk away from Grey's Anatomy, because if she does, she will surely be missed. And I think if it gets to a point where Ellen is gone, I think it's time to wrap it up, Mary. But Shonda Rhimes, she created a show and that's under her umbrella. But she's pretty much handed over the reins to some other lady. I can't think of her name right now. But whoever she handed it off to, they're doing a great job. So thank you, Shonda, for bringing us great shows like Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder. What's that other little 911, Station 19. You know what? I need to go back and give Station 19 a chance. Look, Scandal was good. First 2 seasons, great. It got a little kooky at the end, but I stuck it through and I finished it. Scandal kind of went off the rails for me. I don't know. It took a hard left somewhere in the middle of that series, but nonetheless, a great series. I recommend. How to Get Away with Murder with Viola Davis. My Lord, perfection. Great show. Beginning to end. It had a great conclusion. I wanted more, but the way it was nicely wrapped up in a bow. I mean, that show was designed to only have so many seasons. So it really, as far as just a full package of a show, plus with Viola Davis, you're going to get what you're looking for from that. So, yeah, but the Station 19, I tried to watch that a couple times. And which is Station 19 is a spinoff of Grey's Anatomy, which now is concluded and it's wrapped up. And maybe now that it's over, Maybe I'll go ahead and watch it since I know it's a complete finished product. But man, I remember watching that first 1 or 2 episodes, and I was like, the little main character, but oh, she got on my nerves. She got on my nerves so bad. And I was like, great actress, not because of the acting, but because of the character, how the character was written. So great actress because she did her job. I think it was meant to evoke some kind of frustration with that character, and they just did a little bit too good of a job to the point where I'm like, I don't want to watch that. But so some of the characters that were on there who maybe started on Grey's Anatomy, now they're back on Grey's Anatomy, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, y'all, enough about this. This is probably boring if you don't watch the Greys. But yeah, so that's where we are. Let me know what you're binging. Hold on, I'm unlocking the computer. I need to reset this computer again so it stops going to sleep on me while I'm recording. But I'll do that later. Eventually, I will do that. Now I want to talk about this little story that I heard. Let me tell you something. People really need to get off of their high horse. People need to really be mindful and demure about how they are treating people, because you never know, never underestimate the people that come across your path. Hello? So here's this story that I got from the TikTok streets. Y'all know. So here's this story. There's this restaurant, right? And they agreed to have this influencer come in, this content creator come in and do a little review. You know how the girls do. The people, they go to the restaurants, they review the food, they review the atmosphere, they post videos on TikTok, so so you don't waste your time. So you know where to go, so you get firsthand experience without actually experiencing it yourself. So anyways, so this relatively small influencer gets booked, gets the okay to come and review this restaurant, goes through all the things and set this up. And I guess the owner, I guess it was a third party person. I don't know if it was an assistant, a PR rep, another manager. I don't know. It was not the owner himself who directly set this up. So anyway, so this young lady, she gets to the restaurant. She's like, hey, yeah, I'm here to record. Bippity boppity boo. And before she could even start the video, the owner is like, well, who is this girl? Let me see her Instagram. Let me see her TikTok. What are her numbers looking like? And they're like, no, I don't want her here. She's not big enough. Anyways, leaves this poor girl in tears. Okay? Because can you imagine? You're excited. You're doing this thing. And then someone's basically telling you, ill, gross, you're irrelevant, get out of my restaurant. That's really going to hurt your feelings. That is really. And so the girl ends up making a video about that experience. And at first she was just going to let it go and be like, you know what? Hey, I tried. I'll go review another restaurant. But because she went ahead and posted a video about the snooty, nasty, snarky, pathetic attitude from this restaurant owner, the girl blows up. Now she's a huge influencer. Now she's getting all of this traction. Now all of these things are popping off and bibbity boppity boo. I'm sorry, I don't have names. I'm so sorry. I'm sure if you look it up on TikTok, you will find it. I'm so sorry about it. If you want to know, hit me up. I'll get you names later. That's not important. I want to get to the main principle here. So, of course, the story gains some traction because what do people love? People love gathering people on the internet. People love when people get out of character and do something rude, and the internet loves to attack. Okay? And they attacked this man. They attacked the restaurant, and they were like, how dare you? She's a small influencer. You should be lifting people up. You should be so grateful. Now look at you. And this just goes to show, do not be so quick to dismiss someone because you feel like they don't have the numbers, the credentials, the qualifications of something. Because really, honestly, what was the worst that could happen? This man wanted to blow up overnight, wanted to have this come up moment of his restaurant. And he felt the only way to do that was to have somebody with huge numbers already come in and say, yes, this restaurant is so-and-so approved. Baby, you and this influencer could have came up together because advertisement is advertisement, right? Exposure is exposure. Whether this girl was going to get a few hundred views or a few thousand views, that's still more traction towards your restaurant than you would have gotten otherwise. This person who was coming to do this and was really doing you a favor, but because you feel like, oh, she didn't have certain numbers, and then you were rude about it. First of all, this was something that should have already been cleared before the young woman showed up. Okay? If she was already there at that point, just let her make let her make the video. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Nobody's really gonna see it? Okay, well then no harm, no foul. Whether she said something negative or positive, that's the worst thing that happen. Best case scenario, y'all both have the come up. She makes a great video about your restaurant. People see it. People go visit. People agree. And then people keep coming back to her for her opinion. Everyone wins. Everybody's making money. Get money. How you do it? People really need to check themselves before they wreck themselves. So now, the restaurant owner's daughter has come online. Apparently, she's a big influencer. So now the daughter of the owner of the restaurant has got online and has been in the girl's comments and making videos and saying, I'm so sorry for my dad's, actions, and we really want to make this right. I think the owner apologized. I don't know. Whatever. Too little, too late, if you ask me. They're over here basically trying to do damage control. When really, all actuality, look, I don't know how old that restaurant owner is. I don't know nothing about this man. I don't know nothing about these people. But for what he was saying, talking about, let me see your Instagram and your TikTok and checking numbers and all of that, that sounds like something that probably the daughter told him to do. I'm not saying that people of a certain age don't know to check numbers and understand what all of that is and have some kind of basic concept of that. But and then for the daughter to immediately jump on to be trying to apologize, I feel like she probably had a hand in leading her father astray and giving him some bad advice. Because I'm not apologizing for grown people. Like, parent or not, I'm not apologizing for grown people. You can apologize yourself. Now, people come after me based off of the adults in my life, their actions. I will kindly direct people to those adults who actually committed the crime and say, look, I have no parts in it. I didn't tell that man to do that. That is not me. I think it was wrong. I don't agree. But don't come over here on my socials attacking me because, baby, I don't have nothing to do with it. So I think they're all getting a little taste of their own medicine over there. And this just goes to show. First thing, like I said, don't dismiss people, okay? Don't be so quick to judge. Another lesson you can get from this is post the content. Post the video. This girl was going to take her L and go on and whatever. But instead, she decided to just get online and talk about her bad experience with this situation, and it ended up being very beneficial to her social media career. Now she is a big influencer like he was looking for, and I'm sure that she had goals to be. Just post the content. If you go out and you set up appointments and you do the things to make a video and it doesn't work out for whatever reason, if the people back out, if people change their mind, if the makeup artist doesn't show up, if your talent doesn't show up, if whatever, make a video about that. Just post it. If you have an idea, the worst that can happen is that it doesn't take off, but at least you would have posted it and it is out there. Also, let this be a lesson in PR and HR training. There are ways and then there are ways. If that man really felt like that was going to harm his business, there was a way to handle that in a way that would not have left that person in tears. If you hire someone or agree to have someone come film at your establishment, and for what reason you change your mind, because you do have a right to do so. That is your business, that is your restaurant, that is your company, whatever you've hired or agreed to have someone come film. You have every right to cancel it, okay? under these conditions, if people were supposed to get paid, you need to still fulfill at least partial amount of that payment for the people prepping and coming and just the trouble of showing up, right? If you are going to cancel it, you need to do it in plenty of time. Now if it's something they get there and the spirit moves you and says don't let them do it, then hey, whatever. But do it in the most professional, polite way. Because if you felt like it was going to harm and you didn't want her to do it, you could have said, hey, I'm the owner. I'm so-and-so. First of all, I want to thank you so much for coming out here today. I really appreciate you taking your time to come and do a review. Unfortunately, at this time, we're going to have to put a pause on this. And if you got to make up something. Just say, we're actually needing to take care of logistic thing or administrative things right now, so we cannot dedicate the type of service right now that you need for your video. We appreciate you coming. Let us hook you up with some coupons. We're going to give you and your family dinner on us just for your troubles. And if we can schedule something in the future, if you have a business card, we'll be in touch. Let us know. She would have got the gist of, okay, they didn't want me to film, but you would have at least been professional. And there really wouldn't have been anything to talk about. Don't make people feel small over some internet numbers. Boy, you tried it. Boop. Out of business. Anyways, I don't know if he's out of business, but hey, you never know who's going to be the next big thing. So learn that lesson through that man. Don't put yourself in the same predicament as this person. All right, what's next on my little list here? So, I want to talk about this is actually perfect. So trying to get out of something. This man needed a lesson on how to get out of something without creating a fire. Okay, so this is what made me think about this. Okay, let me say, have you ever been somewhere, whether it be at home or at a store, just wherever? Have you ever been somewhere and then the people around you, notice someone is struggling with something, or maybe you notice that they I don't know, they drop something, or they're looking for something there's a commotion that has nothing to do with you, and it's not like an emergency. But have you ever been somewhere and you oh God, I hope they don't ask me for help? Be it because maybe you're in a hurry, or you don't think you would be able to help them, or you just have the anxiety about it. For whatever reason, you just oh God, now I'm going to have to help this person. We've all been there. If you say that you haven't and you always want to help, shut up, you're lying. You're a liar. I don't believe you. We all have those moments of that's not my problem. I just don't want to deal with it. You will not sit here and tell me that it is just me. That's not true. That's not true. I don't want to hear it. I don't believe you. La, la, la. Fingers in the air. I don't believe you. Okay. This is what made me think of this. So, yesterday, I'm at work and a little lizard, y'all know I'm a nanny. So, couple lizards got in the house. So, I'm in another room doing something else. And then I hear some commotion, and then I realize, they're trying to get lizards out of the house. Now, I'm not afraid of lizards. I'm not comfortable enough with them to try to chase them down and pick them up and stuff. They're very quick moving. I'm fine with them outside. I'm not particularly scared of them or anything, but, give me a nice regular bug. Give me a spider. Give me an ant. Give me a beetle. These are things I can go after and, I can save the day. A lizard, it's a little much. And plus, they're so quick, you gotta make sure you're not knocking stuff over. I ain't trying to break nothing in this house. I can't afford nothing up in here. So anyways, I realized, okay, the mom and the maid are trying to, or housekeeper, whatever the proper name is, whatever. The mom and the housekeeper are trying to gather these lizards, and I didn't let it go on long, but there was a 2 to 3 minute period of I'm gonna pretend like I don't know what's happening. But they were struggling, and I was like, okay, I can no longer act like I don't hear the commotion. Now I had to go offer my services, and hopefully they say, "Oh, we got it" or something. I don't know. Anyways, so I ended up having to. And look, to the mother I work for, if you ever hear this, it's no Sade. It was had nothing against you or the housekeeper. Love you both so much. I don't do lizards, man. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't try to add to the problem. I wouldn't try and be up on the table. Oh, it's touching me. You know, I didn't feel like that would be helpful. But I was like, God, I just don't feel like dealing with this. So anyway, all that to say, we ended up collectively as a team getting the lizards out. And might I say, I think that I was actually useful and helpful. I did actually step up to the occasion, and we were able to get both lizards out of the home safely and placed in a nice yard of grass where they were free to roam. And I hope they have a very happy life in the out of doors. So is it just me? I know it's not just me, but I would love to hear about a time that you tried to get out of something and you're like, man, I just don't feel like, I just don't, you know, like it's just, what's another one that I can think of? It'll be like small stuff, you know, nothing big. Like if someone is like in trouble, if there's like a lost child or an elderly woman trying to lift something heavy, or if it's something like that, then okay. But if it be like them little minor inconveniences of like, I just don't want to deal with that. Now in my case, I'm not a big, I didn't want to touch the lizard. I didn't want to scream in that woman's house. Sometimes you don't want to do something because you don't want to make a fool out of yourself. Like it could be something like with something in the car. Like, everybody should know how to check the oil and put air in the tires and stuff like that. Imagine a lot of these young men, I'm so sorry, they don't know how to do the things anymore, the basics, okay? And women should know how to do it too. But imagine being a man and, your lady friend, your girlfriend, your wife, your whoever, it is like, oh dang, my tire pressure light came on. Now everybody should know how to do this, but for the sake of the story, let's say that they don't. You as a man are gonna feel like, damn, I can't tell this girl I don't know how to put no air in no tire. And when she says it, she doesn't ask you. She's just saying, oh, dang, my tire pressure light come on. But in your mind as a man, at least you should, you immediately think like, oh, you know what? I need to go take a car around her, or I need to get my little machine, put a little air in the tire, or whatever, right? You're going to be sweating. You know what I'm saying? Now, you will figure it out. Now, luckily, we have Google and TikTok and ChatGPT and tell you how to do the do. Look, I recommend everybody get this little machine. If you want to get this, there is a portable air pressure thing. Look it up on Amazon. You'll see it. There's all kinds of them. But while I'm talking about this is a lifesaver. If you live in a really, really hot state like Texas or wherever, or if you live somewhere where the temperature could be like real cold one day and then real hot the next day, that messes with the tire pressure and all that. You know what I'm saying? Look. Everybody should have this in their car. Me and little Joseph got one. They've been lifesavers for both of us. It's portable. You don't have to plug it in. And it charges like with a regular phone charger, okay? But anyways, it's real easy. It's super easy. Everybody should have one. It'll save you from having to stop by Discount Tires or Pep Boys or going to the little gas station and putting your little quarters in. Well, now they have where you can scan your credit card or a debit card if you don't have cash on you to use the little air tank at the gas tank. Just know how to do the basics. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you think people might know how to do something and you don't have to have that awkward conversation. So just kind of, know how to do something, or you know what I mean? But anyways, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So the last thing on the list, honestly, I'm gonna be so honest with you. I don't know what I wanted to say about this. Look, in my podcast notes, I usually just jot down shorthand. So things pop up throughout the week or whatever, and I just jotted down in the notes for the episode to say, okay, this is a topic, that's what I want to talk about. And usually the shorthand, do people even write in shorthand? I don't even really know what that is. Anyways, that's another conversation for another day. Usually the shorthand is enough to jog my memory on what it is. But this one, I don't know. It just says 70s music, Zoom, Commodores. I have no idea. I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know if it was in relation to a video. I don't know. I mean, it is one of my favorite songs. I do love 70s music. It's probably my favorite decade of music, honestly. But I do not have anything to say about 70s music, Zoom, Commodores. It seems very specific. And if it ever comes back to me, I would love to know, and I would love to share it with you. So I'm just going to take that as there's a great point to wrap it up. 70s music, Zoom, Commodores. Stream the Commodores. Stream Zoom. And stream this podcast. I guess is all I can gather. I would love to play the song, but I cannot for copyright. I know I used to play music at the end of these episodes, and I thought that I could get away with it because, you know, it's just family over here. Baby, I ain't nobody. I thought I could fly under the radar. I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing it. It caught up with me. And so, because I would hate for all of my episodes to be taken down, yeah, that's why, if you were ever wondering, that's why I stopped putting music in there. But, so yeah, pretend like this episode was going out to Zoom, Commodores. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, Zoom. Oh, I like far away from here. Okay, that's enough. All right, copyright strike. Okay, bye.